Shalom to all my awakening brothers and sisters, the Hebrew Israelites. This message is to discuss the covenant agreement that our forefathers made with our God, the true God, so that we should know and understand what our God required of us and what his intentions for chosen Israel is. Knowing these things will help us to see where we and our forefathers has made errors and what we need to do when he chooses us back, when he shows us mercy. So let's look into this agreement or the covenant that our forefathers made with the true God. At Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 10 to 13, it is written, all of you are stationed today before Jehovah, your God, the head of your tribes, your elders, your officers, every man of Israel, your children, your wives, and your foreign residents who is in the midst of your camp, from the one gathering your wood to the one drawing your water. You are here in order to enter into the covenant of Jehovah your God, and his oath, which Jehovah your God is making with you today, in order that he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God, just as he has promised you, and just as he swore to your forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 18 and 19, it's written, and today, Yahuwah your God, Yahuwah has obtained your declaration that you will become his people, his special property, just as he has promised you, and that you will observe all his commandments, and that he will put you high above all other nations that he has made, giving you praise and fame and glory, as you prove yourself a people holy to Yahuwah your God, just as he has promised. So Yahuwah promised to become God to the people of Israel as they walk in his ways, observe his regulations, his commandments, and judiciary decisions. Israel agreed to become his people, a special property for Yahuwah. Yah promised to put Israel on high above all other nations that he has made, if Israel will observe his commandments. So as Israel obeyed Yah, they were set on high above other nations. For it is written at Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2, for you are a holy people to Yahuwah your God, and Yahuwah your God, Yahuwah has chosen you to become his people, his special property, out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. At 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 24, it is written, you establish your people Israel as your own people for all time. And you, O Yahuwah, have become their God. So the nation of Israel was set on high and prospered when they observed the laws and commandments of Yah. So what is our God's intention for chosen Israel? Well, it is written at Exodus chapter 19, verse 5 and 6. Now, if you will strictly obey my voice and keep my covenant, you will certainly become my special property out of all peoples, for the whole earth belongs to me. You will become to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you are to say to the Israelites. At Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6 it's written, for you are a holy people to Yahuwah your God, and Yahuwah your God has chosen you to become his people, his precious property out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. At Isaiah chapter 46, verse 8 to 10, it is written, remember this and take courage. Take it to heart, you transgressors. Remember the former things of long ago, that I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is no one like me. From the beginning I foretell the outcome, and from long ago the things that have not yet been done. I say, my decision will stand, and I will do whatever I please. His purpose for choosing Israel is for Israel to produce a kingdom, a territory of priests, and a holy nation for Yah. For Israel to become a people of God to use as a special property out of all the peoples on the earth to carry out his will on the earth. For Israel to produce a righteous kingdom that will bring blessings to the earth. What a great privilege it is for Israel. That purpose of Yah's heart still stands and will be done. That is what all the prophets are saying, because whatever decisions and counsels of our father's heart, that those decisions never fail but will be done. So Israel, remember, God's intention is for us to produce a righteous nation of priests to serve our God and to carry out his will upon the earth. Yes, the purpose of God's heart has not changed but still stands. Isaiah chapter 46 verse 8 to 10, it is written, remember this and take courage. Take it to heart, you transgressors. That is us, Israel. We transgress against the laws of our God and his covenant. He said we should remember this and take courage and take it to heart. He said, remember the former things of long ago, that I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is no one like me. From the beginning I foretell the outcome, and from long ago the things that have not yet been done. I say my decisions will stand, and I will do whatever I please. At Romans chapter 3 verse 3 to 6 is written, what then is the case? If some lack faith, will their lack of faith invalidate the faithfulness of God? Certainly not. But let God be found true, even if all men be found a liar. Just as it's written, that you might be proved righteous in your words, and might win when you are being judged. However, if our unrighteousness highlights God's righteousness, what are we to say? God is not unjust when he expresses his wrath, is he? I am speaking in human terms. By no means. How otherwise will God judge the world? So Israel, God is always faithful to his promise, to the decisions that he made or has made. Those decisions, he said, will stand. But even if Israel became unfaithfulness, some Israelites became unfaithful, God is still keeping true to his faithfulness, to his promise, to choose to make out of Israel a kingdom of priests and a holy nation to serve him. So even when he brought his wrath, he is doing so that his righteousness might still stand. Yes, Israel's transgressions against the agreement or covenant has not changed God's purpose or his decisions regarding the people of Israel. God is still faithful to his promises that he wants to accomplish with the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But we first judge his people according to what he foretold to them from the beginning. That is, he will bring punishment if they transgress or revolt against the agreement. So that is what God has been doing, bringing punishment upon Israel, because he foretold that from the very beginning. He said, remember this, that he is God, that whatever decision that he makes, that decision still stands. So when he told Israel, I'm going to bring punishment, he is carrying out what he has foretold from the beginning. The foretold or agreed punishment for errors of Israel is what we are going to discuss here. What did our God foretold from beginning will be the punishment upon Israel when they break the covenant that they made with him. Exodus chapter 20 verse 5, it is written, you must not bow down to them nor be enticed to serve them. For I am Jehovah your God. I'm a God who requires exclusive devotion, bringing punishment on the errors of fathers upon the sons, upon the third generation, and upon the fourth generation of those who hate me. At Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15 it is written, but if you will not listen to the voice of Jehovah your God by taking care to do all his commandments and his statutes that I am commanding you today, all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. At Leviticus 26 verse 38, it is written, you will perish among the nations, and the land of your enemies will consume you. Those of you who remain will be led to rot in the lands of your enemies because of your error. Yes, they will rot away because of the errors of their forefathers. Isaiah chapter 66 verse 4, it is written, so I will choose ways to punish them, and the very things they dread I will bring upon them. Because when I called, no one answered. When I spoke, there was none who listened. They kept doing what was bad in my eyes, and they chose to do what displeased me. So the punishment will be upon the people of Israel for up to the fourth generation or cycles, until Israel bears the consequences for their sins and God's heart is satisfied, until his anger or his wrath on his chosen people comes to an end. Yes, Israel will bear punishment until Israel's wicked heart is corrected. Israel, yes, the true people of Israel are still in punishment today. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 5 and 7, it is written, I am Yahuwah, and there is no one else. There is no God except me. I will strengthen you, although you did not know me, in order that people may know that from the rising of the sun to the setting, that there is none beside me. I am Yahuwah, and there is no one else. I form light, and I create darkness. I make peace, and I create calamity. I, Yahuwah, am doing all these things. At Hosea chapter 6, verse 1 and 2 is written, Come and let us return to Yahuwah, for he has torn us to pieces, but he will heal us. He struck us, but he will bind our wounds. He will revive us after 2 days. On the third day he will raise us up, and we will live before him. At Matthew 24, verse 23, verse 37 to 39, it is written, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the killer of the prophets and the stoners of those sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together the way a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. But you did not want it. Look, your house is abandoned to you. For I say to you, you will by no means see me from now until you say, Blessed is he that came in the name of in Yahuwah's name. So God said that he is the one doing all things. He brings calamity on a nation, and he also is the one to bring peace. He is the one who abandoned Israel for 2 days since the time of the Messiah came, so that Israel will bear and complete their punishment until the end. So Israel, you are still in your punishment, and it's still going on till today, but you have few more years to complete your punishment. How does God judge a nation? How does God judge or punishes his enemies? Understanding how God punishes his enemies will help us to understand what God is doing with the nation of Israel. For the way God punishes his enemies is the same way. At Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 to 7 is written, Consequently, Yahuwah saw that man's wickedness was great on the earth, and that every inclination of his thoughts, of the thoughts of his heart, was only bad all the time. Yahuwah regretted that he has made man on the earth, and his heart was saddened. So Yahuwah said, I am going to wipe men whom I have created off the surface of the ground, man together with domestic animals, creeping animals, flying creatures of the heavens, for I regret that I have made them. Luke chapter 24, verse 21, verse 24 is written, And they will fall by the edge of the sword, and be led captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled on by the nations until the appointed times of the nations are fulfilled. At Jeremiah 25, verse 14 is written, For many nations and great kings will make slaves of them, and I will repay them according to their deeds and the works of their own hands. Leviticus 26, verse 33, it is written, And I will scatter you among the nations, and I will unsheath a sword off after you, and your land will be made desolate, and your cities will be devastated. Yes, Israel, when God brings punishment, he brings a complete destruction of a nation, including birds and animals. He wipes out everything when he brings his judgment. And that is the same judgment that he brought when he judged Israel, that he brought upon the nation of Israel. Man and woman, everything is to be wiped out. That's why it's written in Luke 21 verse 24 that they will be led away, they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led captive into all the nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled on by the nations until the appointed time. So Yahuwah brings complete destruction of his enemies when he judges a people or a nation. Finally, God's final judgment on his enemies from God's final judgment on his enemies from people of Israel. Enemies of on the people of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 36 to 38. This is God's final judgment on Israel. He said, it is written, just as I entered into judgment with you, your forefathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so I will enter into judgment with you, declares the sovereign Lord Yahuwah. I will make you pass under the shepherd's staff and bring you under obligation to the covenant. But I will remove from you the rebels and those transgressing against me, for I will bring them out of the land of their foreign residence, but they will not enter the land of Israel. And you will have to know that I am Yahuwah. At Amos chapter 9 verse 10 is written, they will die by the sword, all the sinners of my people, those who are saying the calamity will not come near us or reach us. At Malachi chapter 4 verse 1 is written, for look, the day is coming, burning like a furnace, when all the presumptuous ones and all those practicing wickedness will become like stubble. The coming day will certainly devour them, says Yahuwah of armies, and it will leave them neither root nor a branch. So this is God's final judgment on his enemy, the people of Israel. He said he will get rid of all the sinners of Israel, that he will leave them with no root, the sinners with no roots or branch to continue with their wickedness. So he said he will bring his people under obligation to the covenant, just like he judged them when he brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt. All those who rebelled against him, all of them died in the wilderness. They did not enter the promised land. The same way our God will judge his people Israel in this final judgment, and all sinners and all the rebellious ones of the people of Israel will be put to death. At the end of the punishment period, to correct the wicked hearts of the people of Israel, any unrepentant sinner and rebel of the house of Israel will be judged and put to death. Yah said they will not return back to the land of Israel to profane his holy name anymore. The judgments of them will shine as a warning to all remaining ones of Israel. So Israel, you have seen the covenant that our forefathers made with our God. That is, that we agreed, our forefathers agreed that we will serve our God exclusively. And the only way to get out of this is either by death of either party. But we know nothing will happen to our God, for He is the divine one. So it's either we return and search for our God and give Him exclusive devotion that He required and live, or many of the house of Israel, the rebels and sinners, will be put to death. Until next time, Israel, remain prayerful, and shalom to all of you.